Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dakota Fundraising News Podcast. Today is Friday, the 21st of February. As always, we thank you for listening in, and we thank you for the support. You're joined, of course, by myself, Pat, and as ever, my esteemed colleague, Konch. And, speaking of colleagues, a few housekeeping items we have to walk through quickly. First, if you're listening into this, like, subscribe, and share the podcast with someone else that you know in the industry. It's called the Fundraising News Podcast, but we've gotten a ton of positive feedback from people that aren't in fundraising seats. So send it to analysts, send it to investment bankers, whoever. If they have ears, let them listen to the podcast. And if they have eyes, they should be reading. And we want to just plug our founder, Guy, has written the book on fundraising. Truly a leader in the investment sales space, has been since really the 90s. I don't mean to age him here, but at Dakota since 2006. But he's been, leading distribution efforts since before that. And he's written a book called The Dakota Way. It's all of the sales processes that he wished that he knew when he started his career. So we encourage you all to go ahead and check that out. You can get the virtual edition for like $1, I think, on Amazon, and then you can get the paper copy for $8.99 on Amazon. Shoot that a like and a review as well. I know I had the chance to read it in an early release, and it was lovely. There'll be an audiobook coming soon that we'll have to have everyone check out. Maybe we'll have a snippet on the pod.
Yeah, it's great. We're in the office every day. We see it every day for the past 4 or 5 years that we've been here, which is kind of crazy to say out loud, but having that in the 70 pages, nice, quick, condensed way a lot of our customers ask us, how we do it here. So, read the book and find out how.
Yeah.
So.
One of the ways we do it, though, is by keeping up to date on job and role changes. So we'll just kick off with that segment for today. We'll start internationally. We've been making a ton of strides on the international data side. Maybe at the end of the show, instead of my product update, you can give us an international data update.
For sure.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot for that, but we've made a big hire as well. James on our team now is going to lead our London effort, boots on the ground. If you were listening into this podcast last year, you'll remember that I was trying to move to London. Maybe that'll still be in the cards once we have a bigger presence there. But in the meantime, a couple of job changes. First, EQT has announced that Per Franzen will lead their entire firm as new CEO. He's been with the firm for quite some time, actually. We covered this on the Dakota Research podcast. Per has led fundraising and was responsible for one of the largest fundraisers that they've ever done. He will be replacing Christian Sinding, but Christian is not going anywhere, really. Christian is going to chair the strategic committee. So now they have 2 really experienced leaders at the helm. Moving over from Stockholm to Singapore, and then Konch, I'll pass over to you because I feel like I'm talking a lot, but Alice Liu has left DBS and joined Standard Chartered. They're an international wealth manager. She is in the Singapore office covering private equity, credit, hedge funds, and real assets.
Nice, Pat. Yeah, I'll give you a chance to catch your breath there, but I appreciate you leading this off. I'll continue this with a change with Nick Martinez. He's left Taylor Street Real Estate and has joined Patrick Ventures, which is a Phoenix-based family office. We've also added a ton of family offices to our database too. Just as a note there, I'll give an update on the non-US stuff, as you mentioned there at the end, Pat. But staying along with job changes, the last one we wanted to call out here, CIO change for the Ohio State Teachers Retirement System, $96 billion plan. Aaron DiCenzo will become the interim CIO on April 1st of this year. He is succeeding Matt Worley, who resigned last year in September, which we called out on the podcast. This is effective March 31st. The board for Ohio STRS is currently conducting a nationwide search for a new CIO. When we find that out, we will continue to share updates.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's going to be an exciting one too. We see a lot of times these CIOs come in and then they make additional hires to their team. So there'll be a lot coming, I'm sure, at Ohio. On to the RIA segment. This one's a little shorter today. I'm not really sure what's going on across the industry. We've had obviously a crazy environment of RIA financial advisor acquisition and moves, but it's been a quiet 2 weeks. Maybe just sort of middle of the quarter, people are focused on reporting. It's kind of 45 days since end of Q4, so maybe just different performance reporting and client service efforts going in, and acquisitions are slowing down, it seems, but I'm sure they'll be ramping up soon. A couple to call out: Rise Growth Partners. They have made a minority investment in Grimes and Company. That is a family-owned RIA managing $5.7 billion in assets in Westboro, Massachusetts. Rise received a investment themselves actually from Charles Bank, a private equity firm in Boston and New York that we know well, to start backing the strategy of investing in growth-oriented RIAs. So I'm sure that they will be in the news more and more as they continue to make more and more investments.
Nice, Pat. Yeah, I'll close out this segment with an update from Creative Planning. They've acquired Maxwell Wealth Strategies, which is an RA based in Pleasanton, California. Maxwell Wealth Strategies was founded back in 2015 by James Maxwell, reported approximately $290 million in AUM as of December of last year. I'll just keep moving here as we move on to the institutional coverage.
It's a hometown call out for you coming up here, right?
A little hometown call here. Lancaster County Employees Retirement Fund. Fun fact, I born and raised Lancaster County. Weird Al, the Amish song back in the day, was a popular one. But what else was out there? There was the show Amish Mafia. That one gets called out a ton. A little hometown love. But quick update from them: $400 million retirement fund. They have an OCIO update. Actually, they've approved selecting Marquette Associates as the OCIO, effective for 3 years, which started at the top of the year here. Moving on, as far as searches goes, staying on the institutional side of things, a couple of recent active RFPs. We haven't had a ton of these over the past few podcasts, more so, commitment pacing plans from different pensions. But 3 RFPs we wanted to call out recently. If you're not subscribed to these, you can receive these right in your inbox. Check us out, dakota.com. First one is a fixed income search from the State University's Retirement System of Illinois, $23 billion plan. They're looking to award anywhere between $250 to $500 million for this search. They may hire more than one manager depending on what they get. Deadline for this one is March 19th. They're using Makita for this search. Just some additional information here. Looking for qualified firms to provide long-only multi-sector public credit strategy products. They're not going to be considering strategies that include private credit, contrary to a lot of what we've called out on the podcast here, Pat. They are going to be considering U.S. and global strategies. As far as the CERS portfolio goes, this strategy is going to fall into their stabilized growth portion of the portfolio, prioritizing strategies that include investment grade, high yield, and emerging market debt subsectors. Also considering strategies to a lesser extent with subsectors such as bank loans, securitized, and other categories. Also just want to call out, they are encouraging women and minority and disabled owned businesses for the search here.
Yeah, that's great to see. We'll jump to Chicago here with Labor's and Retirement Board Employees Annuity and Benefit Fund. Wow, mouthful every time. They have announced a search for long-only equities, particularly on the international equity side, really across all different flavors of international equity. It's a $30 million search, and they're looking for, again, that's managers across small cap growth, small cap core, and value for international equity strategies only. And then Quincy, Massachusetts. Quincy has roughly $830 million AUM. That's the Quincy Retirement System. They're also looking for U.S. fixed income. That's a $10 million search. The RFP deadline is the 28th of February, and that is going to be a bank loans strategy. $1 billion needs to be invested in the bank loan strategy. The firm should have $10 billion under management, and they need to be benchmarked against the CS leveraged loan or the Morningstar LSTA leveraged loan index.
Nice, Pat. Hopefully, we can continue to call it more active RFPs as we see them. We'll move on, though, to our investment section, have an update from the Louisiana State Employees Retirement System and the West Palm Beach Police Pension Fund, 2 pension funds that we don't get to call too much on the podcast here. As far as Louisiana State Employees goes, they did have an update for their global multi-sector credit search. First of all, narrowed the search to 3 finalists, which is going to include Bayview Asset Management, Irradiant Partners, and Orchard Global. Once we learn who they select for that one, we'll update it. But they also disclosed $225 million in private equity commitments. $100 million they're allocating to the EQT BPEA private equity fund 9. And then HarborVest and a custom co-investment fund is receiving $125 million as well. Louisiana State, they use NEPC as their consultant. And then going down south to West Palm, $440 million police pension fund. They use Mariner as their consultant. They disclosed $12 million in commitments across private equity and real estate. Taurus Private Markets Fund 3 getting $12 million there, and then the affiliated Housing Impact Fund 2 receiving $10 million.
It's great. The fundraising news updates section for the day, very exciting. If you haven't been listening in to the Dakota Research podcast, that happens every Friday at 11 a.m. live from the studio, where we talk about fund launches, fund closes, and do topic deep dives. We'll cover some of this there, but just a preview. So Neuberger Berman, obviously everyone listening into this is familiar with them. They've secured $1.6 billion in capital commitments for their third specialty finance fund. That is an oversubscription. They were aiming to raise $1 billion, so they've really shattered that. And that was an international raise: Middle East, Eastern Asia, and U.S., Canadian pensions, insurance companies, foundations, and wealth managers. Poland Capital as well, we'll call them out. Another firm that we know well here at Dakota. If any of you guys are listening in, congratulations. They have received a FSP to operate in Abu Dhabi global market, which is very exciting. So this is a financial service permission that is required for managers to operate in Abu Dhabi, specifically in the Middle East. The firm has appointed Omar Sultani to manage and head their Middle East and Central Asia office. Poland Capital's CEO said that this is in an effort to expand their global footprint and accelerate the next growth phase for the firm, which is exciting. It's a firm that's obviously grown a ton with roots back in large cap growth, but now, it's really all asset classes they're really becoming leaders in.
Yeah, UAE too, Abu Dhabi and Dubai, obviously a hotbed these days for investment firms and allocators across the board too. So it's awesome. Last update here, we have Madison River Capital, which is a spun off from the family office of former Blackstone president and COO Tony James. They've secured $370 million in capital commitments at the final close of their first institutional fund. That is the Madison River Capital Fund 1. Fund generates support from family offices and other institutional investors. Didn't really disclose the names of those. If we ever find that out, you can find that in Dakota Marketplace.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's just those, we're just seeing a lot of these, high-level executives at these large firms spinning off and starting their own firm. And then just a little recommendation for any listeners for some non-Dakota content. The current Blackstone COO, John Gray, is a fantastic follow on LinkedIn. He does just a ton of thoughts on the industry, a ton of career best practices. He's actually a runner as well, so he does these videos of him running in different cities. And the schedule that this guy's on is out of control. I think in the past 20 days, it was Singapore, Japan, LA, and New York. It's holy cow.
Yeah, I actually followed him due to your recommendations.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. Maybe we should do a pod on the run.
Yeah, a pod on the run. Or maybe we should get John Gray on the pod. That'd be something.
That'd be good.
Yeah, Konch, tell us just a little bit about the international data that we've been adding, just high level, what people can expect.
Yeah, again, it kind of goes hand in hand with that, Poland receiving that permission to do some business in Abu Dhabi. But, we've heard from our customers the need for access to, what the investment landscape is outside of the U.S., UAE, of course, Australia, even with the superannuation funds across the board in, Latin America and obviously Europe. So, over the past 2 years, we've added, over 1,500 accounts, investment allocators globally. Even right now in Q, we have, maybe 300 or so that you'll see in Dakota Marketplace in the next, call it a week or two. Continue to add there, of course, on the family office side as well. As you just mentioned with, Madison River Capital, the growth of family office and things like that. We've been adding, probably close to 1,000 family offices in the past, 6 to 12 months there as well. So investment landscape is growing, Dakota Marketplace growing along with it. We're tracking all the changes that we can. Shout out to my data team, everyone else involved on the growth of Dakota Marketplace there.
Well, good. That will wrap it up for this week. Again, it's been a pleasure today, as always. We ask you to like and subscribe. And again, as my opening comments, check out our founder's book on fundraising if you are in a fundraising seat. We will be back next week. Until then, have a great weekend. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
This episode is brought to you by Dakota Marketplace. Are you tired of constantly jumping between multiple databases and channels to find the right investment opportunities? Introducing Dakota Marketplace, the comprehensive institutional and intermediary database built by fundraisers for fundraisers. With Dakota Marketplace, you'll have access to all channels and asset classes in one place, saving you time and streamlining your fundraising process. Say goodbye to the frustration of searching through multiple databases, websites, Form ADVs, and say hello to a seamless and efficient fundraising experience. Sign up now and see the difference Dakota Marketplace can make for you. Visit dakota.com/Dakota-Marketplace today.